Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome, Fernando.
Welcome to the show.
You excited?
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Let's go.
I know. Today we have the F150, and this is the newer body style F150 that we know is going to be extremely popular because, let me show you the radio and you'll understand why. Now, it has been a minute since we've filmed a full-length F150 video, and we've been doing a ton of them. It's not like we haven't. And this screen, as opposed to the beautiful big one, is becoming more and more prevalent. We see these all the time now. And we know at some point we'll be replacing these radios because, well, it's kind of basic, and a bigger, nicer screen out here would look really cool, but that's not happening yet. But integrating into this to make it sound a lot better, well, we've been doing a ton of them, and today we're going to take you on the journey of making this one. Let's roll the intro, we'll come back and I'll tell you everything that is going to be going into this guy. This system, after spending some time going back and forth and trying to figure out the budget as far as what we wanted to do in this to make it sound like he wanted. He had some thoughts. He wanted bass, he wanted a more prevalent front end. And so after going back and forth, we came up with this system for this particular vehicle. Bass wise, we're gonna be doing the Foxbox F150 enclosure. He wants big fat boomy bass. This is a big fat boomy box. It's ported. We can fit full-size woofers in it. It's gonna sound fantastic. We do tons of these here. The subwoofers are going to be the audio controls. These come with grills, which I totally love. You know, stuff rolls underneath the seat. I don't want to screw up a woofer. Power wise, we're going to do the Haley Special. So we're going to do the Key 200.4 on a front stage upgrade. It is going to be powering a set of the Morel HE602 Mark IIs. So the high efficiency, the power that this has, these things are going to just rock out. And then for sub, we're going to power it with the Key 501, doing the de-equalization and fixing anything with the signal so we can get all that 500 watts to these woofers. And of course 200.4 has its DSP built into it that it auto sets, which will make these sound fantastic. Bracket wise, we have some brackets we're going to be using, which we'll talk about when we get to it, and some other odds and ends and things like that. Now this is an F150. There's all the fun little F150 things that you have to keep in mind. It's aluminum. If you're doing an F150, always run power and ground. I can't tell you enough how important that is, especially if you're going to do something like an Amp Pro or anything like that. You definitely have to run power and ground. Here's how this is going to go. We got to start getting this car apart, taking a look at where everything is going to be. Need to get the pillars off, the doors off, the radio part out, behind the seats where the amp's going to go. So let's get started, shall we? Fernando, you ready?
Ready.
He's not ready. To remove the A pillar, there's this little tiny hole located down here in the bottom that in theory you should be able to put like a pick tool in and just kind of yank it off. I don't know. I don't feel safe doing that. I tried. It didn't want to move. I went to our flat metal pry tool, came in at it from the side just like this and was able to get it in, and just the friction of pushing it in let it pop out. And then this whole piece just comes off like this, and it kind of dangles. There's a little rubber piece that goes in here, which if this is something that's going to get in the way, you can unpop it, but totally not necessary. Behind it, there are two 10mm bolts. Carry these guys right here. These are little cool things I got from Target, and we use those for like left and right side of the car or radio or wherever. It's just a really easy way to put all the screws and parts and anything that could get lost inside of them, and then they just chill in the vehicle, or we can move them away. Either way, staying organized and putting screws in a location central to your installation is very important, as opposed to just like putting them on the floor and then you have to dig through them. This helps you not lose screws. Once that is off, grab it by the handle, give it a slight little tug, and then it's gonna pull this way up, come right out. There is the tweeter clip on it, and then that's it. Pops right out. This speaker is different than what is in the BO system. This is a base model, so anything you're gonna hear on this is only for the base model F150s. The BO is totally different animal. Let's head over to the bench and I'll show you what we're gonna do to put a tweeter in here. The tweeter on these newer Fords went from a nice convenient 2-screw to a 3-screw. It's just a standard Phillips. Have you ever done a set of tweeters in any of the F150s? The passenger side will always have this piece of foam on it that the driver's side will not have. I don't know why they do it that way, but I'm sure they have their reasons. We'll just set it back in place for right now. And this is the tweeter we're going to be removing. There's 3 clips that hold this in place. Now there are some tweeters out there that will actually just snap right into this and you don't have to do anything as far as mounting it in. If you're hoping to get lucky with that, the diameter of this tweeter is 1.62 inches. Let's take a look at the speakers we're going to be putting in here. The speakers that we're going to be using for this are the the Maximo Ultra 602 High Efficiency, or HE, Mark II's two-way 6.5-inch component set. Inside the box, you get the cool little instruction manual for it. It comes with a giant Morel sticker. It also gives you some specifications on it. Inside the box are the two 6.5. These are high efficiency, which means they don't have giant passive crossover network. Crossovers are attached to the speakers themselves for easy installation, quick and efficient. Two 6.5-inch mid bass, Morel stamped into the basket, nice size magnet, vented pole piece. The crossovers here attached, as we said, and then it is glued into place all around here, so you don't have to worry about it falling off or any of that other weird stuff. I mean, it's a Morel, it's going to be fantastic. The cone is a treated paper cone, Buta rubber surround, nice little speaker. Parts wise, we have some speaker terminals, we have some screws, mounting brackets for the tweeter cup with screws. These are the crossovers for the tweeters right here. For this installation, because we're doing the kicker key, the key automatically auto senses the tweeter, and so we will not need these for this installation. Comes with the two surface mount cups as well as the big tweeter mounts here. These come with this mount right here, which is designed if you have some flat surface that you want to set it on, corner of a dash or any place flat, you can mount it just like this. If you lose this, then you can drill a hole into something, and it has this cool little speaker cup that looks like it's angled so you can spin it around, and that is what these brackets are for. If you push it, the tweeter will come out and the grill does come off, and then it has this cool little Morel little tri-leg that sits in front of a lot of the tweeters. This is the Maximo Ultra HE tweeter, 4 ohm, 93 dBs of efficiency. This will sound great up in that dash. I like to leave the grills on it until I'm ready to mount them somewhere, but let's grab the other one. Put all your parts back in the box just in case you need them at a later date. And of course that sticker goes back in here in case the customer wants to put it on his car. Taking a look at the Morel tweeter and how this could possibly fit together. Unfortunately, our Morel tweeter is just a little bit too big to go into this, which kind of sucks. There are some like little friction legs that are inside of here, like you can see that one right there. There's a couple of those. You could sand those out, maybe round off the top a little bit, and then we could squeeze this in. That would probably do the trick, and we'd be done and everyone would be happy. Except for me, I wouldn't sleep at night because these clips right here, they wouldn't really lock into this tweeter. That means that we're gonna have to build something, and this is quite a complex shape. It is 3 levels of height. You have low, medium, and high. They're at different positions around here. None of this kind of makes any sense as far as this. This would be ideal for 3D printing, scanning it in and doing all of that, which at some point, now that we've actually taken all the geometry for it, we will. But today we needed to get some math, and that meant we built this guy here. This is an acrylic version of what one day will be 3D printed, and it's at 3 different levels. It's shiny, and it's designed to bolt right into place just like the factory and hold our tweeter. How did we get to this point is the question. So let's take a look at the laptop and we'll kind of walk you through the process of how we got here, and then we just so happen to have a bunch of pieces here that we're going to glue together to make this piece. Our CAD software of choice is a program we got in the Apple App Store, which is called Amadine. It's a 2D app that allows us to draw a complex shape. We can also import pictures. In this case, we took a picture of our tweeter mount sitting here on our workbench and imported it in. That gave us a good idea of what we're looking at. The next thing we do is we scale it to size. We can measure one of these holes along here and then scale up. This one being the closest to the camera would be the one I would recommend. You could also put a penny in the picture or anything like that. You just want to make sure you get the scale right. Once we have that in place, we need to start drawing on top of it. The first is the first layer, which we have drawn here. This is actually the top layer. We're going to start in reverse just because the way we set it on the table. This would be the top layer, and we drew that in place and made that a layer, and we turned that off, and then we drew the middle layer, which is this guy right here. Now if you'll notice, it is a little skewed. We'll make this something other than black so it's easier to see. It's a little skewed from the drawing. So what we do for that is we'll print it in cardboard once we get it done, and that will allow us to test the shape to make sure that it fits the way we want it to. And then if we need to come back to the drawing, we'll make some corrections there. Once we had the middle, then we moved on to the bottom, which is this guy right here. Now the reason why this isn't stacked on top of the rest of these is the bottom actually had to turn into a few more pieces, which is this right here. This is the leg we ended up using to balance out the bottom to height. We also needed a middle spacer for this to go in to raise the height of that. And then if we look at all of these pieces at the same time, you can kind of see what that looks like. Coloring is wonderful. The other thing that we needed was some way to lock it all into place, which is this layer right here. This is made out of two different thicknesses of acrylic and allow the inside here to slide down, and then we add the top layer to it and we can glue it in place offset, and then these screw holes will match up with the top layer here and we can screw it all together. Now if you're going, what the what? No problem. Let's head back over and we'll assemble it. So taking a closer look, you can see these are the risers that need to go into place. There's 4 of them that attach to the bottom. That's going to get us the height we need to emulate this leg right here, so it sits like that and becomes level. We'll switch A-pillars here and pull out the new one so we don't accidentally build 2 lefts. First piece we need is this one with the little notch. That is going to sit on this side like this. I like to, when gluing these together, is whatever layer needs to go down and have the pieces attached to it is just peel off that side first. So this is going to go here like this. This lets me know this is the side that needs to be glued, and these 4 little risers need to be glued to it. On these we can pull off both sides of the paper. This being the last one, I'm just going to peel off the side that I need, and I'll leave this one on there. The reason why I do that is I don't want to get glue on the back of these. The paper will protect it. The glue that we like to use is the Weld-On acrylic glue 3. This is the fast thin glue. It allows you to work and move through the process pretty quick. It does dry relatively fast, so don't dilly-dally. Gives you just a little bit of time to move it where it needs to go. That is the first layer in place. The next layer is the spyglass looking thing that is going to go over and sit like this. And I just like to check the piece because I mimicked it as much as I can, so that way I don't get it turned upside down. Test fit it first. There's a lip inside of this that allows this tweeter to sit in place, and that lip is very important. Putting the tweeter into the acrylic at this point is kind of crucial, but I don't want to accidentally glue the tweeter to place. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue here on this seam, line it up, give it a second to cure. And remove my tweeter carefully. Apply some glue to that inside lip. It gives it a nice area for the glue to ride around and get all into all the little nooks and crannies. Give it a second to cure up, and test fit the tweeter again. Make sure that it didn't move. Still have time. There you go. We're good. Test fit it on the piece. We're still good there. The next step is to add the riser. Same basic idea. Put the tweeter in, slide the riser over into place. And then this area right here, we can add some glue to hold it in place. Give it a couple seconds to dry. Just gonna put some glue in here. And I'm gonna just roll this around like a hamster wheel. Getting that glue all over the seams inside. All right, that gets us to layer number 2. That again. And now we have the final layer, holding it up to make sure we put this on the right direction. Line it up. Give it a second, test fit it again. We're gonna give it 1 second to let it just cure up and get nice and solid. Get the tweeter to set. This lip comes right up to here. This is the locking piece here. I don't wanna peel any of this paper off of this yet. This is going to drop into place, and it's gonna line up with these 2 little eyelets here. Then we need to get that on. I can pinch it and hold it nice and tight and go in and add in all my glue. Flood this whole thing. Make sure it came through on the back side. If it didn't, add a little bit more. And I'm just gonna hold this for a couple seconds. Wait till it's nice and dry. You'll know it's dry when the paper isn't wet. And I don't want to set this in there until it is dry because I don't want this to become mounted to this in any way. That's why I left all the paper on it, because it just makes it easier to test fit it and make sure it's all good. Remove the paper off of that. Wait for this to be thoroughly dry before you put it on here. Set this one aside. We will be bolting it together using two little M3 8mm Allen head screws. But while that's drying, we can go over to the other one and set this in place. Two of the factory screws will go back in. Then we'll use one of our 1-inch screws to do the third screw. And there we have it. We're bolted into place. It's all set and ready to go. I'm gonna get this over to Fernando so he can get these into the car.